the lovely day. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
hello, fine gentlemen. If isn't the greatest traitor in American history.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. I bow to you, sir. Applause waits on success. I'm still waiting on the success.
As I've said before, a learned blockhead is a greater blockhead than an ignorant one. And you, sir, are both.
Oh, I see you have aged. Beware the hobby that eats.
Your robbery of my quotes is pathetic. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Lazy lobsterback.
Regardless of your witty and wise comebacks, you, sir, are the traitor for leaving the mother country. Colonist scum.
I, sir, am enlightened. You live in the dark. Rotten redcoat.
General Horatio Lloyd Gates is the rotten one. My wrinkled and plump friend, his tyranny matches that of the British Parliament you criticize so boldly. I try to protect us from absolute anarchy, but no. General Gates and General Washington get all the credit. The majority of the colonial population will agree with me, if not for living out of military fear. You lazy old bottlenecker!
You dare call Benjamin Franklin a lazy bottlenecker?
I will refrain from guffawing at your laughable proposition. You lazy colonists hardly waited to take a volley at us, savages.
We had the full support of the majority of the colonists, and you know it, sir.
Well then, if you are so sure of yourself, there is only one way to settle this.
ESPN Colonial Nation!
It's Colonial Nation!
Woo!
Where the educated idiots banter about who knows what, and Colonial Nation sends in their votes via e-horse, and we decide who is right. Today we have the first celebrity himself, the 80-year-old ladies man who got electrocuted while flying a kite. Big Benny Franklin!
Thank you, my fellow Americans. It is my vision of America that we will become a strong and independent nation where any white man can be president without uncrawled criticism. Women can enjoy all the luxury to stay at home without being forced to go to school or think for themselves or do anything stressful, and we will be loved by countries everywhere. And
Yo, Benny, sit down.
Thank you for your support.
Sit. Next, we have the man in red, the man who pulled the first Brett Favre, the man who won't do it unless it's his idea, the most underrated hero, gone overrated enemy in history, Benedict Arnold.
So, how's it going?
Thank you for joining us today, gentlemen.
I love speaking to my people.
If they're women.
And I treasure the moments to speak to you all.
When he makes money off the newspaper.
And at least I'm not that guy.
And at least that guy doesn't have weight issues. By the way, when did the dinosaurs die, Benji?
It's nice knowing we have two very respectful and mutually loving individuals who appreciate each other's role in history.
Way to keep it brief.
Alright, so in recent news, there's been controversy in APush as to whether or not the war was inevitable.
Oh yeah, that's definitely recent.
If I may continue, Mr. Arnold. Do you believe the war was inevitable or not? Benji, we'll start with you.
There were years of British oppression against the colonists, and we were sick of British tyranny.
It was aggressively enforced suggestions.
Oh my gosh. Shut up.
Thank you, young lady. As I was saying, we refused to submit to British tyranny without a voice in Parliament.
For the good king's sake, you had dozens of representatives in Parliament. They were just all from London.
Benedict, shut up.
Taxation without representation is unjustified. It does no good if our representatives don't know what's going on in the colonies.
Hybrid ships are very fast. Parliament knows everything that's going on in the colonies a month after it happens.
Arnie, if you don't show some restraint, I'm going to have you tarred and feathered.
But
shut up.
Most acting productions have 2 or 3 acts, but Parliament passed dozens of them.
it's a long play. We needed...
Arnie.
Sorry, I'm just saying that...
I will shoot you in the leg. Again.
Sorry.
Harsh. But anyways, they weren't fit to govern us, and their military of immature children with guns, how scary. We're the ones meant to enforce the rules placed upon us.
By us, he means old farts who could kick the bucket any second.
So in conclusion, years of tyranny, unjustified acts, and knowledgeable government all lead to our revolt.
You mean long and drawn-out riot?
If you interrupt one more time, I'll send you to France.
Please don't.
Okay, now, why was the war avoidable in your opinion?
Thank you. Well, the colonists were acting like immature children, and they needed disciplining.
I'm 50 years old and left home before I was 18.
He interrupted me.
What's that? I didn't hear anything.
You hit me!
With a dose of reality. In addition, they were our colonies, and they needed to submit to British rule as colonies of the mother country. If they had, the war would have been avoided.
We are free thinkers.
They attacked our soldiers, destroyed our ships, refused to pay taxes, needed to help debt that was caused by their war. They created a state of anarchy, and we had to stop it. They could have prevented their own war.
Your army, your war.
We'll be right back after this commercial break. So before the break, we asked if the war was inevitable, and the colonial nation voted, and they voted, oh, it was inevitable.
Take that, you overdressed misfit!
Whatever, I could care less. What were you people thinking?
Okay, moving on to our next question. At the time war on Britain was declared, did the majority of colonists support the idea of independence from Britain? Mr. Arnold, we'll start with you.
Why, thank you, miss. And the answer to that, of course, is no. The nation was divided into thirds, meaning 33% supported it, 33% were neutral, and in very intellectual, damn sexy 33% were against the absurd idea of leaving the mother country.
What about the other 1%?
Has anyone ever told you you're very aggravating? But anyways, in conclusion, the Continental Congress didn't have enough support to declare independence when they did.
What? Why the air quotes around Continental Congress? Those boys were legit! But seriously, they did have reason to believe the majority of the colonists supported independence, as a significant case of nationalism was spurring across the nation. And independence was talked about everywhere. Revolutionaries were writing numerous publications in support of it. And at the rate it was growing, it was inevitable that the nation would not come down on the side of independence.
Well, you both make strong cases, but colonial nation voted. Yes, it did have the majority of colonial support.
Woohoo! I'll win again!
I am out of here. Ellie.
Well, that concludes this edition of Colonial Nation. Coming up next is Brett Favre's retirement party, followed by a funeral for the Lions' playoff hopes. Good night, everyone.
I won!